Hello, my friends, and welcome to episode 17 of Let's Play City Skylines Trinity. Now, today, last time we were working on railroads, and you can see our commercial and especially our residential demand has jumped up to some pretty high levels. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to make some railroad towns and expand some of the ones that we have, and perhaps we'll put an airport, because I'm thinking like this general area is actually a pretty decent spot. I mean, there's plenty of places we could choose, but I think that's probably the best spot. So we are going to do that, and if we have time at the end, we're not going to have time. You know how long I take on these things. We're going to start doing some of the necessary highway construction for our main area. Now, to show you what I'm planning on doing, this highway here is going to continue sort of around here somewhere, and we're going to build a brand new highway crossing here, going under here and out to here. So it's basically going to connect this highway all the way to this highway over here. It's going to be one long highway. So with that in mind, let's start with our residential first, like I said. So, where are we going to build? First of all, I think since these guys are so happy to have a rail station finally, let's add a few blocks over here. A few blocks of residential development. And once again, stupid power lines are in the way. And also, that didn't actually line up quite the way that I had hoped it would. So, let's just readjust this a little bit. Oh, do-do-do-do. Happy times. So, very simple. And now we are going to make this go all the way around behind, build the stupid power line back, and let's throw some down here. I'm nervous to unpause the game just because I don't want the level of demand to go away. It's the only reason. I want this to be developed with full demand in place. We're going to have this curve around like that very happily. Aren't we good? Do I want it to make it any more this way? Let's make two more big long blocks. I'm not really counting the length of any of these blocks. I'm just sort of doing it. So, oh yeah, we're going to have to bypass this dude so we don't tear down this historic farmhouse. We all know how much we love historic farmhouses in this city. So there we go. Historic farmhouse has been spared. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to keep the commercial on the highway, or on the main road. And we are going to put the residential all along here. And that should be fulfilling our demand. Alright, also, these people don't have a park, and I think they deserve a nice park. So, gonna slap down a park and some water and all the good stuff that people need to survive. I mean, have you tried surviving without water? Doesn't work, does it? Also, let's give these guys their own. Let's give them to crematorium, just because I keep seeing these little things pop up for dead people. So let's give them a little boost with that. Alright, so happiness people are coming in. Also, let's think about building some more over here too. And let's do it in the direction of the train station, because the train station is a little bit out of the town, and I think people will want to be as close as they can to the station. So let's throw this down here. So waiting for garbage pickup. We're going to have to do something about expanding our garbage capability at some point in the future, but we're not going to worry about that today unless it gets really bad. Okay. But let's happily make some of these. We'll give a little commercial. In basically this wedge will be a commercial wedge, but everything else will be residential. Alrighty. We'll throw some residential on this side as well. And there we go. Happy times. Things should be starting to grow in there. Our demand is dropping a little bit, but that's all right. It will, of course, recover as time goes on. And now for a little town over here. And we're going to make it very small. In fact, it's only going to occupy this region. So first of all, we need to build some power lines, and we're going to build them here. And now we're going to build water. Also, once again, you know, between almost every episode, I do a little bit of off-screening. Nothing like big, but like smoothing slopes around the rails, adding trees. And in this case, I actually added a few more water pumps since the last time we were here. So it's pretty minor change, but nothing too significant. I would not deny showing you anything big, so don't worry about missing anything like that. Okay. Oh. And now, yeah, these don't line up with everything the same way. But I really just care about the squares being covered. I don't really care how awkward the grid is. Squid? Really? Squid? Yes, I don't care about the awkwardness of the squid. Squid does what it wants because it can. Okay. And I think each of these towns deserves a park. And I think adding this will give the people enough stuff to build on for a while, because there's not really going to be any major building projects until we get to the actual downtown. So everything that we have here is just going to have to do for a while. Although if the demand gets high enough again, we might actually go ahead and build Zone more anyway. But that's pretty much what I wanted to do. And now, since we have our rail line going all the way through, and by the way, this is going to be a rail line, and it will probably go out this way, but we don't have to worry about that just yet. We can look at airports. And if we hold down right click, we can rotate. And as you can see, we can put it pretty much anywhere that we want, as long as the slope isn't too steep. But I think like right there is a good idea. So I'm sorry for you guys, but you're gonna get it. You're gonna get blowed up. But I do promise you a better road is coming. Okay, is that enough? Is that enough? There we go. And people will be kind of taken off into a mountain, but it's all right. Actually, you know what? Let's get it even lower. The mountain doesn't actually factor into the calculation at all. But there we have it. Boop! Our international airport. Yeah, pilots can bank left. They can go around this. No, easy peasy. Yes. If anyone out there is actually a pilot, I mean, it's possible. There might be an actual pilot watching. It's entirely possible. They're gonna be like, oh God, no, you can't put the airport there. But, well, this is simulated. It's these planes have, I don't know, magic thrusters or something that make them go up. Okay, well, we are going to build a highway, but in the meantime, I did promise a better road. So, well, first of all, we're going to do a few things. It's actually, you can't actually build any roads connecting to any point on this other than the ends. So why not add that there? We are going to make our train station over here. Well, we can have another one if you want. Now, we're going to have our train station, which is going to be a direct line over to here. So let's throw that down before we forget. But I also want to make a larger road that goes around. In fact, why not make it a tree-lined avenue? Okay. First of all, let's extend some of these roads. I think normally there would be like a gate or something. Because believe it or not, you can actually, I mean, you can't connect these directly, but if you have them close enough, it'll appear that the walkways are starting to connect, and I think that I always found that to be kind of weird. But there we go. And I don't think a road would ever come that close to a runway on a commercial airport for many reasons. Securities, planes blowing over cars with their exhaust, you know, anything like that. But, you know, could work. But we're going to make a tree barrier here. So I imagine there would be like a fence or something. But we could imagine that the fence is here. It's just obscured by trees. A lot of people like to go to airports and watch planes take off, which is a cool thing. They just can't do it from the street here for security reasons. Alright, so that's a good enough bypass, but I want to have something better for our people. Do 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 do. Boop. Yes, a nice little aesthetic avenue that goes around in an arc. And now we are going to happily, whoopsie. Well, we can happily destroy power lines. That makes me happy. It doesn't make the game happy. Yeah, let's keep it paused until we actually get this powered up and watered up. I don't know which part of this needs to be watered. I think maybe just the terminal, maybe any of it, maybe all of it. I'm not sure, so we're going to be watering and powering the entire thing. And really, like, as big as this looks, it's actually a relatively small airport, considering that most airports, you know, can't simply be supported by one road like this that goes in. But yeah, it's kind of frustrating because I can't simply like do this like you would think. So a bit annoying. But people will just walk to one end or the other and walk through. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, I keep trying in vain Like if I do something like this, like the sidewalks do connect, but then you'll be on the wrong side here. So let's happily make a little bit of a commercial hub. I think the zones will still build. This will be like your rent-a-cars and, you know, other services that are peripheral to an airport will be here. Okay. Alright. Now I'm thinking of what we're going to do with our railroad. Also, yeah, we can't unpause it at this point. Yeah, look at that. We're just going to, whoops, nope, that's not an upgrade. We're just going to do this. And we'll let them figure it out over here. But I don't want to make this at grade because that would be a big pile up, perhaps, especially if there's more than one line connecting. But I don't want to make it elevated, at least over here, because that would be well, actually, if I make it elevated over here, it wouldn't be too close to the runway, and it would probably be okay. So let's bring out our handy slope making tool. And thinking with our brain, we can... Here, we're going to pick like a slope like this. Oh. Every time I reload the game, I have to do that. As you might imagine, some episodes are actually made one after another, and I'm not reloading the game or anything. Although I will have to eventually do that to show you your my mod list, which is something that people have been asking about now for some time. But there we go. And this, my friends, if you're wondering why are you building another rail line, this is the direct airport line, and it's going to hook up to that piece of railroad right there. So both of these are actually going to come around here, and then at this point they're going to diverge from one another. And I like the idea of them being dug in pretty deep because there's going to be all sorts of things crossing over there. So why not just have them go under everything? I'm thinking of having our commercial rail be there too. So yeah, let's dig out this ditch at least as far as where it will be equal to everything else elevation wise, and then let's begin to build these rails. All right. Whoa, hello. Gradual curve. Very, very gradual curve. Yeah, for instance, this highway is going to be sloping over here. Yeah, a lot of big things come into this area. In fact, I think we might actually keep them joined all the way up to here, because this other one I think will start to have stations maybe here or something like that. So what we're going to do this. Yes, and now you can see a little bit of how my brain works through these videos. I'm sure it's a subject that many of you were very, very keen on learning because, you know, I'm just that interesting, I guess. Okay, there we go. As if, right? Okay, so we are going to put these here. And is that an overcorrection? No, it's actually pretty good. Okay, good. And do these two have to hug perfectly? No, I would say not. They don't even have to be at the same elevation. That's okay, because they're splitting off at this point. All right. So very happily they do connect, and of course we'll do our usual stuff later on when it comes to fixing the slope, but that's not something we're concerned about now. What I'm actually thinking of doing is putting the the cargo over here, and having the ramps for that come all the way back here and intersect with both of this highway and the other one that we're going to build. So that is a big project for the near future, and I might do that even before I build the city. So, you know, that downtown is getting more and more delayed every day. But I like when things are good. Okay, I totally just blanked. I totally just. I wonder how often people think I'm on drugs. To be fair, like, that was a question that people used to ask me a lot when I was younger. It's like, are you on drugs? And I'm like, and then I'd honestly answer no. And people would be like, people would come up to me and be like, especially when I was in college and I had long hair, they'd be like, hey man, where do you get your weed? And I'm like, I don't actually smoke. And they'd be like, really? You? And I'd be like, yeah, no, I don't. You surprised? And they would be surprised. But no. Was never into the drugs. I'm not gonna say that I've never tried weed, you know. It's not so much of a taboo as it used to be to say it, but I would be lying if I said I hadn't tried it a small handful of times, but it was only like, you know, at parties someone would be passing around a piece and I'd be like, sure, why not? I'll take a hit. But like, that was the extent of it. I mean, the entire time, or the entire amount of times I've done it in my life is probably around 10, I would imagine. And all but 2 of those were more than a decade ago. So even by that standard, it's pretty low. And we are going to connect that. And the most recent experience, by the way, wasn't a very good one, so it kind of made me less than eager to do it again. Okay. But there we go. This right here I don't really like, though. Oh. Ooh. Yeah, we can just do it like this. Happy times. And this is going to be our airport line, so we can easily call this airport station. If anyone has any cool names for the airport, that's good too. Well, people are already having problems finding people to work. Isn't that kind of funny? So I don't know if I'm going to have this elevated or not, so we're not going to build a road next to it. But we will build a road over here. And let's actually, you know, once again, using up our time on stuff other than what I was talking about. Whoa. Yep, you see that apparently in this game, planes climb by making very tight circles like buzzards. For all I know, that's what they actually do. I mean, I don't think so, but I'm not a plane expert by any means. It's kind of interesting because there are a number of, well, one main person I follow online. You know, I've probably mentioned the name of my favorite conservative commentator before, Bill Whittle. He is a plane nut. So you get him talking about aviation, and you're going to be there all day because he's just going to talk about it. And it's really interesting to learn about. But I myself know very little about planes other than what I've heard. Like, I couldn't look up in the sky at a plane crossing over and tell you, oh, that's you know, this kind of plane with that kind of engine and all that kind of stuff. I couldn't do anything like that. It's too technical for me. Not that I don't enjoy planes, and I love, you know, I don't get to go on many flights. I mean, as you might imagine, I don't have much money, and I'm not really jetting off to exotic locations. The last flight of any type I took was back in 2015 when I went to my cousin's wedding in St. Louis area. So that was the last flight I ever took to this present date. Okay, so what are we going to do now? We are going to make the airport line. And this is going to be just an express route to the airport. And we are going to make this, we're going to make it a deep blue, like a navy blue. And, what shall we call this? We're going to, I don't know, just for now we're going to call this the Airport Express. Alright, come on, go away. There we go. And we are going to end this episode, if we can get to the right place like not a dummy. We are going to end this episode by watching a train go from the hub to the airport. Not saying this is the only road or the only train that will go to the airport. Look how sleek that is. Oh man. But this will be the most direct from the station. So we're going to click on it. We're going to click this. And we're actually getting a track level view. I never know when we're getting a track level view and when we're getting a elevated view. But here we go. Going to the airport. And this one is a pretty easy one to control the variables, because if there are too many people on this, we can always just up the number of trains, and we're not going to be worrying about really clogging up any other lines or intersecting with anything else. But here we go. We can see the planes going up in a tight circle. You can see the airport to our left here as we make our way over and make our way down. And you know what? That was so much fun. Let's hit the pause button and do it again. Are people walking here, by the way? Not yet. It takes a little while before people start to actually use the airport that you made. And now we're going to get a view back, but this time we are going to be riding on top of the train. Our express line. I think there's only 2 trains on this line right now, which I know from experience will not be enough once things really start going. But we are going to up those trains when we get there. We're not going to rush. Not going to rush that. Yeah, a little bit more lumpular than I like back there, but fundamentally it's no big deal. Okay, now we're passing the other train, where we ride along on this big cut. And now we're back towards the town, and now we're going to go over. Yeah, it's actually a very short line. And pulling into the station where, yes, we actually have passengers. So people are actually, excuse me, people are actually already using this line. So that is excellent news for us. Well, my friends, that does indeed bring us to the end of this episode. So join us next time, in which we will actually begin highway construction. So long.